Here is an experience so common we barely examine it. You sleep a full night, eat properly, take a holiday, and you're still exhausted. Or the stranger version: life is objectively fine, health, family, and work all functioning, and yet something in you is hungry, and you cannot name for what. Modern language gives us one crude word, tired, and one crude remedy, rest. And when they fail, we assume something is wrong with us. In this episode, I want to hand you the kabbalistic vocabulary instead, because the tradition teaches that the soul is not one thing. And once you see the levels, you can finally diagnose which one is starving. The sources, the Zohar, and the Ari's systematic writings describe 5 levels of soul, Hebrew names, but each one maps onto something you know intimately. Think of them, if it helps, as 5 floors of a house. The ground floor is nefesh. This is the life force you share with every living creature, the animating current of the body, appetite, energy, instinct, the will to survive. Genesis uses the word for animals too. Nefesh chayah, living being. When the nefesh is depleted, ordinary rest genuinely is the remedy. Sleep, food, sunlight, and movement. Please note that the same tradition that gives us the Zohar also rules that guarding bodily health is a religious obligation. A good reference point for this is Maimonides' Hilchot Deot, chapter 4 from his Mishnah Torah, which gives a good regimen for bodily health. Kabbalah has no contempt for the body. The body is the ground floor of the sanctuary, and the sanctuary with a rotten ground floor falls down. The second floor is ruach, literally wind or spirit. This is the emotional soul, the level of feeling, connection, vitality of heart, where love, anger, enthusiasm, and music live. And here the diagnosis gets interesting, because ruach hunger is precisely the state of being physically rested and still flat. Nothing moves you, the color has drained, you are, as we accurately say, dispirited. You cannot sleep your way out of that, because sleep feeds the wrong floor. Ruach eats other things. Real conversation, song, beauty, honest tears, the company of people you love. The tradition knew this with precision. It is why Jewish practice is saturated with melody, why the Hasidim treated the nigun, the wordless tune, as the tool of the soul's maintenance, why King Saul, in the grip of darkness, called not for the doctor, but for David's harp. When your ruach is starving, an evening of real music or real friendship will do what a week of sleep cannot. The third floor is Neshamah, the word Jews say every morning. My God, the soul, Neshamah, you placed within me is pure. This is the distinctly human soul, the level of meaning, conscience, and the pull towards truth, the part of you that asks, what is it all for? And Neshama hunger is the strangest hunger of all, because it can coexist with a full and pleasant life. It is the ache of the successful person who wakes up at 40 asking, is this it? The sense of meaninglessness that no purchase, no holiday, and no achievement touches. Our culture, having only the words tired and unhappy, medicates or shops at this ache. The tradition names it precisely. The neshama is not fed by comfort. It is fed by meaning, by learning that stretches you, by moral seriousness, by service to something beyond yourself, by prayer that is more than recitation. Proverbs calls this level the candle of the Lord searching the inner rooms. A candle does not want entertainment, it wants to burn for something. Above these 3 sit 2 more levels, and I'll treat them with the tradition's own reticence. Chayah, or living essence, the level touched in those rare moments when the boundary of the self goes thin, standing before the ocean, holding a newborn, the instant music dissolves you. And yechidah, or singularity, the innermost point where the soul, say the Kabbalists, was never separated from its source at all. The pilot light that cannot go out. The tradition claims every Jew, every person, carries this point, untouched by anything they have done or suffered, and that the moments of inexplicable return, the person who walks into a synagogue after 40 years and finds him or herself weeping, are the yechidah, briefly audible. You do not schedule these floors. You can only live in such a way that, when they open, you are not too distracted to notice. Now step back and see what this map does, because its usefulness is diagnostic. The 5 levels explain why the standard modern remedies so often miss. We treat every inner deficit as a ground floor problem. Tired? Rest. Low? Go on holiday. Empty? Treat yourself. And then wonder why the emptiness survives the spa weekends. The kabbalistic answer: you delivered groceries to a floor that wasn't hungry. Rest feeds nefesh. Connection and song feed ruach. Meaning feeds Neshamah. Awe feeds what is above them. A person maintaining only the ground floor is running a 5-story house with the upper windows dark, technically alive, chronically underlit. And notice, this is the practical genius of the tradition. How Jewish practice, long before anyone said self-care, was engineered as a maintenance schedule for all 5. Food with blessings, which is nefesh, lifted. Song and community for ruach. Study and prayer for Neshamah. And Shabbos, which we will spend next episode inside, touching all of them at once. These 5 levels are not a claim you can test in a laboratory, and I will not pretend the Zohar is a peer-reviewed psychology. What I will say is this: as a phenomenology, as a description of what human beings actually feel like from the inside, this map has been field tested on real lives for many centuries, and it routinely outperforms the 2-word vocabulary our culture hands us. At minimum, it asks a better set of questions. Not why am I tired, but which part of me is hungry? A question that has saved people a great deal of misdirected shopping. So here is this week's practice. Once on a low day, run the diagnostic. Ask floor by floor, is my body depleted? When did I last sleep properly, or move, or eat like someone I care about? Is my heart depleted? When did I last sing, or laugh until it hurt, or talk with someone past the small talk? Is my meaning depleted? When did I last learn something that mattered, or do something for someone who cannot repay me, or pray like I meant it? Then feed the floor that answered. That is the whole practice. It is also, I would argue, exactly what the mystics knew. In the next episode, Kavanah, the art of doing the exact same thing you did yesterday and having it count. Kabbalah's answer to a life on autopilot.